Time for my 2023 college volleyball bracket projection. It's become a yearly thing, but it never gets easier. I predicted the entire 64-team bracket. This is not in my own opinion of the teams, but instead my best shot at following the committee's selection criteria and bracketing principles. It's based on where we are now with a little guess as to how the rest of the season will shake out. I predicted the 32 automatic qualifiers and the rest were at-large bids. And a quick reminder on how the NCAA's new seeding criteria works that started last season. They seed 32 teams across 8 seed lines instead of just the top 16 overall to create a bracket with better competitive parity. 1 through 4 are 1 seeds, 5 through 8 are 2 seeds. When you get to 17 through 32, you have your 5, 6, 7, and 8 seeds. The 4 8 seeds must go to one of the 4 1 seeds. The 4 7 seeds must go to one of the 4 2 seeds, so on, so forth. And you still have to follow travel rules when possible, meaning if a school can drive to another within 400 miles, it must happen before I can create a flight. So here's the bracket I created. My top 4 seeds overall, the 1 seeds, are Nebraska, Wisconsin, Louisville, and Stanford. Nebraska, the number 1 overall seed, given they win the Big Ten, Louisville, the ACC champs, and Stanford making it out on top of the Pac-12. My 2 seeds are Oregon, Texas, Washington State, and Pittsburgh. The Longhorns number 6 overall with a Big 12 title, not a 1 seed since the committee has really emphasized those big wins. Oregon up at 5 with a guess as to how the Pac-12 might shake out. My 3 seeds are Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia Tech, and BYU. The committee had the 2 SEC teams back-to-back in their top 10 reveal, and I have them here with the Razorbacks as the projected winners of the SEC. And my 4 seeds, Kentucky, Arizona State, Dayton, and Kansas. Those finish out my top 16 overall seeds and therefore are the hosts of the tournament. The last 2 were so tough to pick. Penn State, Creighton, Purdue, and Florida are right outside looking in. Ultimately, I decided to go with Dayton, who will likely not have many more losses this season and sports a 25-3 record with a top 20 RPI, and Kansas, who has multiple top 25 wins, only 1 semi-bad loss, and a top 22 RPI. The others I am predicting to pick up some more losses. I seeded all the teams down to 32, then had to match the 8 seeds with the 1s, the 7s with the 2s, 6 with the 3s, all in the bracket. Let's take a look at some of those matchups. In the top left portion of the bracket, Nebraska has Kansas State as their 8th seed. Kansas has Creighton, who was in consideration for hosting. Arkansas has Houston, and Pitt has JMU. In the bottom left portion, Oregon has Pepperdine. BYU has Utah State. Kentucky has Purdue. That could be a tough and even battle. And Stanford has Texas A&M. Top right, Louisville would have Marquette coming to town. ASU has the Florida Gators. Georgia Tech has Auburn, and Texas would have USC flying in. And in the bottom right, Washington State has Baylor, Tennessee has Western Kentucky, Dayton has Penn State, a host contender, and Wisconsin has SMU. After all of my top 32 teams were matched with one another as the 1 and 2 seeds of each regional, the rest of the bracket is broken down to 3 and 4 seeds. I then bracketed those out while trying to stick to the curve, but also putting teams in regionals within 400 miles and outside of their conference. I did successfully get a 1, 2, 3, and 4 seed in each regional in this projection. There's a more in-depth breakdown of my bracket projection on NCAA.com, but there it is, my 2023 volleyball bracket projection in November. Let me know what you think.